Yeah. Hair flip. Yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip. Yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. And hair flipping on your toes. Hi.
One, two. I'd like to introduce to you how many mics do we rip under the lid? Say many money, say many.
Hello everyone, welcome back to your boy SeanDavieWay. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you have not already. Today we will be surviving Lauryn Hill. Now you know I'm a huge fan of Lauryn Hill, so there will be no disrespect. I'm just gonna put the stories out there, the things that have been said, the things that have been alluded to, and and whatnot. So we'll get into those things, and we'll also get into a lot of the music. So make sure you sit back and relax and grab a snack, and let's get right into surviving Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill enjoyed her first success in the music industry as a member of the Fugees with Wyclef Jean, Lauryn Hill, and Pras Michael in 1996, the year of their hit Grammy Award-winning album, The Score. So you can't talk about Lauryn Hill without getting into the Fugees because that's how she got her start. So let's get into that. Fugees. The Fugees is an American hip-hop group formed in the early 1990s. Deriving its name from a shortened word of the refugees. The group consists of Wyclef Jean, Pras Michael, and Lauryn Hill. The group rose to fame with its second album, The Score, in 1996, one of the best-selling albums of all time. The group is often cited as being one of the most significant alternative hip-hop groups of the 1990s.
The Fugees. Refugees up in here. Refugees. Yeah. 9696. 96. For you.
In 1993, the trio signed to Rough House, distributed through Columbia Records. The following year, the group released its debut album, Blunted on Reality, in 1994. The album received mostly favorable reviews and included the underground Salam Ramai remixed hits Nappy Heads and Vocab. They followed it up with their second and final studio album, The Score, in 1996, which was a commercial success, peaking at #1 on the U.S. Billboard 200 chart and being certified 7 times platinum in the United States. It received universal acclaim and is considered to be one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. It included the hit singles Killing Me Softly, Ready or Not, and Fuji La. Afterwards, the Fugees released the single Rumble in the Jungle featuring Busta Rhymes, A Tribe Called Quest, and John Forte, which peaked at #3 in the UK. In 1997, the group disbanded so the members could pursue solo careers. The Fugees reunited in 2004 and again in 2021 for the reunion tours. How the Fugees began. Lauryn Hill and Pras first met at Columbia High School in Maplewood, New Jersey. Pras, Lauryn, and a mutual friend, Macy Harrell, formed a musical trio called Time. Pras' cousin, Wyclef Jean, joined the lineup and Marcy left soon afterward, in 1990. The moniker Translator Crew refers to the name of their band at the time, which included Johnny Wise on drums, Ty Bass Jerry on bass guitar, and Leon, the DJ. In 1993, after some gigs and recorded demos, the trio signed to Rough House, distributed through Columbia Records. The members then changed the group's name to the Fugees, which was purposely taken from the word often used to refer to Haitian Americans. Refugee camp, while a name sometimes credited to the trio, also refers to a number of artists affiliated with the members, and particularly Jean.
Hey yo, 1, 2, 3. The crew is called Refugee. And if you come to test the rap, stop the violence and just bring Hey yo, I still got to melancholy. People think they really know me. I keep my rappers bumpy while I drop it daddy. I play the soul fighting for my own soul. Cause the bourgeois type will make you suck like a black but I remain a rebel, raise the make the sword to eat you. The devil's wishing they can send me back to Mogadishu. Cause I've been wild since the words of juvenile Afro-centric profile back with righteous rap till it's down. Now get to violence, so I asked the master, who's the bandit? What's the damage? Give me that solution. Pray tell me when the revolution will begin. I turn on my TV, I check out Farrakhan on speaking empty. I'm like a phantom that's flying like the bird doing.
The Fugees have often been referred to as one of the most influential and significant groups of the 1990s, with the Billboard stating their influence on modern hip-hop and R&B is undeniable. They are often considered to be one of the most definitive alternative hip-hop acts, being one of the first alternative hip-hop acts to break into the mainstream. The group has sold over 20 million records worldwide and are one of the biggest selling hip-hop groups of all time, according to Forbes. Their success helped establish Rough House Records as a major record label. Consequence of Sound noted Refugees for putting Haiti on the map in the hip-hop world, while Matthew Ishmael of Pitchfork noted the group for removing negative connotations on the Haitian immigration and the word refugee, stating the Fugees managed to diversify the voice of ghetto and often depicted in one single dimension. They reclaimed pride for Haitians worldwide, a heritage and its post-colonial poverty and strife, but still remembered as setting for the world's new first successful revolt of enslaved people against their oppressors. The bitter and unforgettable breakup of the Fugees. 12 copies. The Fugees' debut album, Blunted on Reality, moved a dozen measly units in its first weeks in 1994. Well, based on legend anyway. It was the type of belly flop that could bury a career, which is why the runaway success of the group's sophomore LP, The Score, just 2 years later, was so improbable. Never mind improbable, Blair Witch improbable, Gangnam Style improbable. The Score spent 4 weeks at #1 on top of the Billboard 200, eclipsing releases by Alanis, Hootie, and even Soundgarden. In under 2 years, it went platinum 6 times and won a Grammy for Best Rap Album along the way. Killing Me Softly and Ready or Not didn't make a dent in the Hot 100 at the time, but anyone who lived through that era knew that those hits mattered just as much. Coming at the tail end of gangsta years before shiny suits and South gold-plated armies took over, The Score filled the void by balancing consciousness and street cred, hip-hop realness and radio realness. The formula was so successful, its appeal was so obvious that the group like City High could land a hit in the fasten of it all. The Black Eyed Peas would eventually achieve nearly equivalent success by bastardizing it. Just as improbable as the transformation of Wyclef Jean, Lauryn Hill, and Pras Michael from the hollering MCs of Blunted and the genre-blending craftsmen of The Score. They carried this critical and commercial monumental into huge success solo endeavors.
Strumming my pain with his fingers.
One time.
Yeah. Singing my life with his words. 2 times. Healing me softly with his song. Healing me softly with his song. Telling my whole life with his words. Healing me softly with
And subsequently dominate the final half of the 90s. As pop stars, they were seemingly conjured out of the ether. After a handful of years of cultural hegemony, they dissipated back into the mist. A third album never came, nor did a formal breakup. There was no spectacular conflagration or catastrophic implosion. Instead, it was erosion, the elements pounding away over time to reveal little cracks until the Fugees buckled under their own weight, leaving the landscape forever altered. This is how the Colossus turned to rubble and how it might be rebuilt again. Did love take out the Fugees? Only Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean know exactly when the affair began. It's impossible to blame someone or reverse butterfly effect the story to suss out the defining moment of the band's disintegration, but the affair between its 2 strongest personalities certainly catalyzed the process. Before the score was even done, when the trio was still holed up in the Booga basement working on it, the married Haitian multi-instrumentalist and progynist 20-year-old multi-hyphened and had already racked up enough romantic drama to compel Hill to quit the band. Praz's quote, "The group had disbanded. Lauryn Hill had left the group at this point and we didn't know what we were going to do," Praz recounted in a 2014 Billboard interview. "Lauryn calls me and says, 'Listen, I'm going to come down to the studio and lay down a reference for you guys. A hook. I give you permission to use my hook, my voice, but I do not want to be a part of this group anymore. Make sure certain people aren't around when I'm there.' Praz said, 'No problem.' She's laying the reference for Ready or Not, and then she goes into the bridge and she's crying. I see her crying. She stops and says, 'I can't do this anymore,' and Lauryn leaves."
Germany ready? They ready?
Short!
Yeah.
Massive!
I think they're ready. Yeah.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Gonna find you and take it slowly. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Gonna find you and make you want me.
Now that I'm escaped, so you walk away. Those who can relate know the world ain't cake. Shell ones ain't golden gates. Those who fake, they break. When they meet their 400 pounds.
If I could rule the world,
Everyone will have a gun in the ghetto, of course. Wicked D up and on their horse, yo. I kick around drinking moonshine. I pour a sip on the concrete. But the deceased, don't weep. Wyclef's in the state of sleep, thinking about the robber that I did last week. Money in the backpack could look like a drag. I wanna play with pelicans from here to Baghdad. Yo, gun blast, stick fast. I think I'm hit. My girl pinched my hips to see if I still exist. I think not. I send a letter to my friends. I'm born again, hooligan, only to be king again. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find you and take it slowly. Ready or not, here I come. Can't hide. Yeah. I'm gonna find you and make you want me.
yo, I play my enemies like a game of chess where I rest. No stress if you don't smoke cess. Yes, I must confess my destiny's manifest. This some Gore-Tex and sweats. I make tricks like I'm homeless. Rap orgies with Porky and Best. Capture your bounty like Elliot Ness. Yes, bless you if you represent the food, but I hex you with some witches brew if you do voodoo. I could do what you do. Easy, believe me. Frontin' niggas give me heebie-jeebies. So while you imitating Al Capone, I'll be Nina Simone and defecating on your microphone.
Ready or not, here I come. You
Her departure was temporary, but by the time the score hit the shelves in February of 96, rumors of a relationship between Hill and Jean had emerged. Years later, the public would learn that during the promo of the tour cycle for the album in 97, Hill had began seeing Bob Marley's son, Rowan Marley. She became pregnant that year, and initially the confusion of the paternity of the child, Marley was the father, was the tipping point for Jean. So side note, this is what's going on. Wyclef was married in the Fugees. The entire time they were making the first album and the second album, he was married. Lauryn Hill knew that Wyclef was married. So when they started seeing each other, Lauryn Hill knew well out that she was the other woman. And Wyclef didn't care. You know, he was very immature and decided to have an affair with one of his bandmates. While that's going on, obviously there's going to be a lot of friction between the two. You know, when you have problems with him, it's kind of hard to leave personal things out of it when you've brought personal to work with you. You know, that's why you don't get in bed, you know, with, you know, you just don't do that. So with that happening, there's a lot of confusion that's going around, a whole bunch of back and forth with Wyclef and Lauryn Hill. During this process of them seeing each other between 96 and 97, Lauryn Hill also started to see Rowan after her and Wyclef had broke up. But her and Wyclef ended up getting back together. So this whole time, she knows she's in a three-way. She knows that Wyclef is married, and she's also seeing another man. So she's part of adultery, and on top of that is seeing someone. So she's cheating on Rowan with Wyclef. She ends up getting pregnant, and when Lauryn gets pregnant, she, according to Wyclef, told him that she was pregnant with his child. Wyclef didn't think twice because they were still seeing each other. So why would he not think that that's his baby? Him not knowing that Lauryn was messing with Rowan. He had no idea at the time. So when the baby was born, he found out that it wasn't his child and that Lauryn was dealing with Rowan this whole time. So Wyclef was trying to make it seem as if he was actually disappointed with Lauryn because she lied to him allegedly about the baby being his, and come to find out it wasn't. But that's not the real reason Wyclef was butthurt. He was upset because Lauryn was doing the same thing he was doing to her. He could not get over the fact that she was seeing somebody else, and it was no different with her. She couldn't get over the fact that he was married, and he couldn't get over the fact that she was seeing somewhere else. It's that broken complex that I think a lot of especially black men struggle with, to where they can do things. I can be in a marriage and cheat on my wife and it's just fine, but how dare her do the same thing to me? And then they act like they're so heartbroken and this woman broke their heart while they're out doing the same thing. It's just they don't take any accountability. You know, they only take accountability when something happens to them, you know. So that's the real reason, to me, in my opinion, why Wyclef was so hurt. It wasn't about the child. It was that she was seeing someone else. But let's keep going. According to Rolling Stone, when Hill went into labor, Jean told a source he was flying to her side to see his new child. Wyclef would seemingly corroborate this account in his memoir, Purpose: An Immigrant Story, claiming Hill lied to him about being the father. Wyclef's quote, "In that moment, something died between us," Jean wrote. "I was married and Lauryn and I were having an affair, but she led me to believe that the baby was mine, and I couldn't forgive that."
Nas Escobar, you can't jumpstart
Yo,
the
what's
star.
up? What's the deal? L Boogie. Life, I wonder, will it take me under? I don't know. Yeah, imagine smoking weed in the street without cops harassing. Imagine going to court with no trial. Lifestyle cruising through Bahama waters. No welfare supporters. Cops are the way we raise our daughters. Days are shorter, nights are colder. Feeling like life is over. Stay strike like a cobra. The world's hot, sun got knocked. Evidently, it's elementary. They want us all going up. Yo, trooping out of state for a plate. Knowledge, the coke was come without the garbage. We don't have the top dollars. Imagine everybody flashing. Fashion, designer clothes. Lacing your click up with diamond rolls. People's holding down, no parole. No rubbers. Going raw, imagine law. No undercovers. Just some thoughts for the mind. I take a glance into time. Watch the blip. The world is mine.
I rule the world.
Imagine that, y'all. Imagine that, y'all.
I free all my sons. I love them, baby.
Another side note, this is why I believe that it had nothing to do with the baby. It had everything to do with Wyclef being extremely controlling over Lauryn Hill and being upset that she was seeing another man. It's like, how dare you see somebody else? Like, she doesn't have that right as a single woman. Because even having an affair with Wyclef, Lauryn is still single. Wyclef, you were married. That's another sign of control. Why are you upset that this baby isn't yours? You should be relieved that the child isn't yours because you are married. No accountability on Wyclef's part did he take. You're a married man. That should have been the reason you left this situation alone, why you left Lauryn alone, because you are married, not because she lied to you about paternity. That's what made you want to walk away? Because of the paternity, not because you're a whole married and made a vow to this woman that you will uphold her to death do you part. And on top of that, you're out here embarrassing her. And then on top of that, you're upset because a child isn't yours out of wedlock, out of adultery. That is crazy to me. So it just shows you how much power he wanted over Lauryn. This is a single woman and he's still trying to control her. You're married. If anybody should have been controlled in this situation, it should have been you controlling yourself not to have an affair. And if you did, walk away from it and do everything in your power to get forgiveness from your wife, not from the other woman, not from the side chick, the Jezebel, if you will. Get it together, Wyclef. Moving right along. Lauryn Hill has refrained from detailing their behind-the-scenes soap opera, only alluding to it in songs, alleging mistreatment and abuse during her time with Pras and Wyclef, or speaking cryptically about it in public. But her devastating verse in the Score Closer Manifest outro was presumably one of the few contemporaneous accounts of the affair, and it indicates just how volatile things already were before the pregnancy. Lauryn Hill's lyrics: "You see, I loved hard once, but the love wasn't returned. I found out the man I'd die for wasn't even concerned. Diamonds deserve diamonds, but he convinced me I was worthless. I was God's best contemplating death with a Gillette. But no man is ever worth that paradise manifest."
Special one for Germany, Bossy. Listen. Oh la la la, it's the way that we do our thing. Oh la la la, it's the natural law only Germany brings. Oh la 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 la. So we think. Refugees up in here.
So that was Lauryn alluding to the fact that things were so bad to the point to where she even contemplated in taking her own life. So things were pretty bad with her and Wyclef. And we'll also get into some of the volatileness that went in between between the both of them. It was energy from both sides. Lauryn is innocent to a certain extent. She played a part in this as well. Wyclef Jean and Lauryn Hill started dating in the early days of the Fugees. The Fugees formed in 1992, and it wasn't long before Jean and Hill started dating. They continued their romance after Jean married designer Marie Claudette, but the relationship was rocky. In his 2012 autobiography, Purpose and an Immigrant Story, Jean wrote that he and Hill were like two outlaws in love.
Last night was not only the first tour date, but it was the first time that I, as a solo performer, really got to perform, in front of an audience that wasn't like, personal people that we know, people at the record company. So it was really, a big thing for me. There was a lot of excitement, a little bit of nervous energy, but we all, we knew it was going to go well because, we were so well received by the Japanese audience, and plus, we had a lot of love, and I think that the audience could tell, the sincerity of what it was that we were trying to put across. So we were real excited.
Did you feel more comfortable playing the show last night or tonight?
Oh, well, always when you have a new show, you're sort of working out the kinks and trying to perfect what is brand new. But, both nights were wonderful. We had like this wonderful audience, energetic crowd. People just gave us a lot of love, you know, tonight, you know, when you have such a major production, a big production, there's always some little technical something, but, you know, you just, you know, keep singing and keep smiling and keep shining and keep trying to give the people love.
And you did shine tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I was sweating a lot. Yeah. That's why I have my towel, my trusty, you know, my little dab thing.
Wyclef's quotes. We had fights on planes. We had huge fights. And a few times when it went down, she started swinging at me right there in the seats. People would scatter. We never got arrested, but we came close a few times in Europe. The singer lied about her son's paternity. Hill got pregnant with her first son, Zion, in late 1996. And according to Jean, she tried to convince him the baby was his. Hill led him to believe Zion was his baby up until the delivery, but it was a lie. When she got pregnant, definitely things started going on, Michael recalled when speaking to Rolling Stone in 2003. Things got crazy, Pra says. The truth was that Hill started seeing Bob Marley's son Rowan earlier that summer while she was still dating Jean, and it was Marley who was the baby's father.
Welcome to the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Y'all. Start that joint.
Lauryn Hill had former children with Rowan Marley. After Jean and Hill split, the Fugees broke up and they both went on to record solo albums. But after Hill recorded her incredible debut record, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, she became reclusive and eventually dropped out of the music business. Hill and Marley also had 4 more children together. Jean admits that his relationship with Hill destroyed the Fugees, but he doesn't think it damaged Hill. Wyclef's quote, "If a man is in a relationship with a female and the man leaves the female and she goes into a relationship with a man and has 5 children with that guy and things start going crazy, can you say, if the first guy never messed up, then everything would have been, Jean said. Side note, once again, this is why I believe that it had nothing to do with the children. He was jealous that Lauryn moved on. He was upset that Lauryn was cheating on him while he was cheating. Like I said, does this dude think, even still to this day, Wyclef feels like, Lauryn is basically the enemy because he wanted to be with her. He always wanted to be with Lauryn, but Lauryn got her head together and decided to move on. I believe it was hard for her at the beginning. It's probably a reason she was feeling kind of trapped between 2 people, between Rowan and Wyclef. But at the end of the day, she chose and she had more children with him. And if anything, Wyclef should have been happy for her. It's like he acted like he was a single man and Lauryn was a single woman and they were together and it didn't work out. So he's a little butthurt that she's the one that got away. But how was she the one that got away while you were married? Like, you were whole married. So you should be happy for her because you were ruining her life. And they were very abusive to each other. So he needs to stop making it seem as if only Lauryn was swinging on him. Allegedly, Wyclef, you were hitting her too. Allegedly. Thank you, everybody, for checking in with your boy, SeanDavieWay. Thank you also for watching part 1 of the Fugees. We will be back with part 2 and get more into Lauryn Hill and what happened between them and the other scandal and all the mess. So make sure you tune in to part 2. There will also be a part 3. So catch those as well. Thank you for the 3rd time. I love you all. Until the next show. Bye.
On your mob style is ridiculous. If you're misogynist, then you probably cannot get with this. If you sit with this, will be no witnesses. See, nobody can touch what you less, and I mean this. I'll be like a fighter, standing at the license. If you talking female, this will say that I'm the nicest. Positively, I'm not who you need on the profit. If you put the mapping on the bricks, I leave a dropping. I come with nigga, get it, supposed to be my nigga. If you try to battle this out, leaving nigga. balaba, 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 balaba. Check out the number one rapper coming through your speaker. This is our arranger. For the keys,